Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by Mike Smith, award-winning director Brian Redondo, and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie. This is episode 47, and we will thankfully get a Savon starting five that's very questionable, and we'll weigh in on the first two episodes of the new Hawkeye show premiering on Disney+. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Mike, you look like you got the flu, man.
You.
You do though.
I feel fine.
What's going on over there?
You do look like you sick.
I feel totally fine. Y'all just told me I look
Oh,
like
is that the
sickly.
comfy?
That is a comfy.
Oh, that's why.
You do look sick, and not like in a badass way. Like,
Yeah.
Man, we're just getting shit on for our appearance, man. Wesley's like losing it with his stubble.
I wasn't hating. I like the beard.
That's all we got to work on, man. I mean, or work with. Just your tiny little thumbnail video here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna pick it apart as best as I can.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Confidently Wrong. We just passed the Thanksgiving holiday here in America. If you're listening elsewhere outside of America, I don't know when your Thanksgiving is, but I'm sure it's a beautiful time as well. We just had a great time making fun of each other's terrible Thanksgivings. So now we'll go ahead and get started. I'm really looking forward to this one because I'm not really sure how the guys are going to react. We're doing a Savon starting five, but it's going to be a little bit upside down this time. I was like, Savon, we should do a starting five, Thanksgiving's coming up. And then I was like, well, what about like best Thanksgiving side dishes? And he was like, yeah, cool. And he like went away to think about it. And then the next time I check the show notes, all I see is whack. So, Savon, take it away. What is your starting five this week?
If you're listening, just like emotionally prepare yourself because this is just going to be painful.
It's not gonna be painful. I'm just keeping it real and saying what needs to be said. And if the people can't handle
That's
it,
what the Nazis said, Savon.
hey man, MLK.
Yeah, you sound like Alex Jones, man.
not to compare myself to some of the all-time greats, but they gave Jesus a hard time and he was spitting facts.
Whoa.
We made it
MLK, Jesus, Aaron Rodgers,
Savon
Savon
Jones.
Yeah.
Although eventually, hopefully I'll get top billing. But yeah, so we're gonna do top 5 whack Thanksgiving foods. For people who might disagree with anything I have to say, tough t- I don't care about your opinion in this regard. Cool. So
The idea of a tough like it's kind of baffling to me. But anyway,
Savon's the amount of time Savon has said tough titties is he clearly has thought about them significantly. So
back.
anyway,
Yeah. So remember, again, this is no particular order. So take it how you want. So we're gonna start off with the one that I don't think this is an unpopular opinion, but turkey. Turkey is whack. Let's just get it out the way right now. We give it a lot of attention. We make it the centerpiece. Turkey is very, very comfortably mid for me. One, it's just way too much work you're putting into it, right? You gotta get the turkey, get it ahead of time. You gotta prep it, season it, baste it, whatever these people do to these turkeys that's borderline pornographic. But it's a lot of work.
truth.
So one, you're just putting a ridiculous amount of effort into it. And I'm like, all right, if you're gonna do this effort, I need the payoff to be worth it. The payoff is most often not worth it. I think turkey by nature is already kind of dry, so you're not gonna really have a moist, even a moist turkey is still dry relatively. All the extra shit you put in it, like, dude, that could be its own meal. People stuff the turkey with other birds, and it's like, hey, if you have to stuff this thing with a variety of other things to make it good, the initial thing isn't good.
it does say a lot about turkey that one of the only ways to make it palatable is to fry it, which in turn is having a high chance that you're going to burn down your house and give your child life-altering burns. So I don't think you have a hot take here, Savon.
Dude, I've seen too many clips of people just starting fires and explosions. Like, dude,
Crazy.
turkey not even that
I saw
good,
this
bro.
compilation. I knew it was dangerous. And it's just so funny how stupid people are because, like, on one Reddit comment, I, like, now know how to not blow up my house, and it's literally just turn off the flame when you put the turkey in. Because what happens is these people put too much oil, they put the turkey in, it displaces the oil, it comes pouring over the sides, and then you have oil just going onto a fire.
Oh, is
and
that
it
what happens?
explodes.
I thought it was
Yeah.
about it being frozen or something.
Well, that also, like,
Makes it worse.
creates
People
a
put a
reaction.
frozen turkey in a fryer.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they try not to, but it, it's still a little bit frozen inside or something. I don't know.
No,
I have
this
no
is
idea.
this is what
It looks
is.
terrible. It's just a huge poof.
Yeah.
The fact that
conflagration.
Thanksgiving has not been canceled by the amount of people that have just absolutely created bombs in their backyards, frying turkeys is just crazy. And I don't mean canceled in like, oh, you can't. I mean like the government not being like, you know what, y'all can't handle this. We're not doing Thanksgiving anymore because it literally turns into a war zone in like Hicksville, Kentucky every year with y'all blowing up your houses with these damn fried turkeys.
Yo, real talk. Like, dude, when you get right down to it, the amount of effort, it's not worth it. Not that great. And yeah, most of these people who fry these turkeys don't fry things like that anyway, so they don't know what they're doing because you only do it once a year. So it's not even like the people doing it are vets because people don't regularly fry turkeys because turkeys are mid.
What's
not
number,
that damn
what's
good.
number 2 on the list, Savon?
Yeah, number 2, cranberry sauce. Some people will say, "Oh, I make my own cranberry sauce." Don't care. I don't care because when you get to Thanksgiving, there's already a pretty good assortment of sweets that you can enjoy. You have sweet potatoes like mashed up. You have sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie. You have all kinds of pies. There's gonna be sweets are everywhere. So just having basically bougie Jello that just ain't it for me. And if you can make your own Jello, cool, good for you. Not a Thanksgiving dish. I'm not about to be impressed.
Don't you
So-
put like jam on your biscuits and stuff? I mean, like this is kind of the same, right? You're taking your,
breakfast
your
food stuff.
starch or your turkey, your protein, and you're adding a little bit of sweetness to it, just like you would add, jam or jelly to your biscuit at Popeyes.
Yeah, so part of my Thanksgiving philosophy, it's stuff that you don't normally eat. Biscuits and jelly isn't something that's, I can't wait for that time of year for biscuits and jelly.
Yeah, but I'm saying this is the equivalent. You got your cranberry sauce and you put it on the stuffing or you put it on the turkey.
You're applying far too much logic to Savon right now.
It's like, it's there, sure, I guess.
I also
but-
don't mind the canned stuff. I kind of like it.
I mean, I
Gross.
get why people like it. I just think there are objectively better sweets when it comes to Thanksgiving. That's kind of the lens through which I looked at it.
All right, well, the next one is upsetting to me, so just get it over with.
Yeah, dinner rolls.
Who doesn't like any form of roll? Who
So-
specifically targets any type of bread?
So the problem with the
I love
rolls and the
bread.
bread is that when it's Thanksgiving, keep it $1.50. You only have a finite amount of real food space you're gonna get. Like, let's all just be honest.
It's true. No, it's true.
So day of, I don't know about y'all, I'm doing a little bit of strategic fasting. I usually don't eat breakfast on that day.
True.
I'm trying to set myself up for success.
I tried to do that, but I got too hungry the other day, and so we got there, and then I was eating the meat and cheese board. I started eating too much of the cheese and crackers, and then by the time we got to dinner, I actually wasn't super hungry. I really
Yep.
missed it.
You can
I
play
skipped
the
lunch.
you can play the clip of the last episode of you talking about how you
Self-control.
self-control. Yeah, we can flash back to that. Rookie move, Wesley, for having like 80 years on this planet, Wes. That's just absolute bush league.
Wes, I think you need to do a standing jog while you snack.
I skipped lunch just so I could, really
Yeah.
fill up.
You
on
gotta
dinner
eat a
and-
little bit so you expand your stomach. It's like, come on, man.
But I know I don't have self-control, so I would have just eaten a full meal, and then it
No,
would've
but
been
you
over.
plan around your degeneracy and inability to control yourself, Wesley. I'm
It
like
was-
20 years younger than you, and I figured this out.
I think Jen needs to prepare like portioned off plates for you just to make sure that you don't overdo
She needs
it.
to put you on a prescribed diet. Like, you can only have 2 donuts at a time.
Hey, Wes, I'm going to come to your defense and say that Thanksgiving dinner is supposed to not be about self-control. So
I was so full.
But
Oh man.
but the deal with dinner rolls is like it's not that they're bad. It's just you only have so much stomach space to go around. So for me, the list starts to like, all right, what am I just not gonna eat because I just need space for the real fire shit? Rolls are just bread when it's all said and done, and that's cool. But like when you have ham and macaroni and stuffing and all kinds of other stuff that you might not really get to eat any other time of year, it's hard for me to justify taking that extra 10-15% of my stomach space just on some bread.
This is Savon's
man.
like
Whoa.
playing GM in 2K. It's like he's
Yeah.
thinking about his budget and he
Yeah.
cut dinner rolls.
It's got to allocate.
Yeah, straight up. Like, I like dinner rolls. Like, let me get it twisted. I like them, but as a Thanksgiving food, it is whack because this is about some top tier primo shit. And, you know, if we're looking for the all-star team of good foods, this is a role player. And that's a nice role player, but, you know, I'm not about to, you know, there's a pecking order here.
I really don't think the pun was intended there. I can tell by your face.
What
Like,
pun?
a role player? Come on.
Nope, I was just on a tirade.
Yeah, he was just on his GM.
All right, next one.
Salad of any type.
You got to have salad. Kind of lightens
No.
it. It balances the heavy.
I didn't have a damn green thing on my plate on Thursday. Tell you what.
I'll tell you what. So look, the same theme. This is not about self-control, bruh. I'm not about to eat salad. I'll eat salad, you know, in the week after Thanksgiving when it's time for me to maybe show some like discipline. But Thanksgiving for me is not about having dietary discipline. If you want to eat 5 slices of some effing pie because that's where you at with it, then damn it, do it. But I did. Salad, kind of in that same category of dinner roll, probably worse because, you know, I guess if you're vegetarian or something, you know, cool. I'm not. So it's just kind of there. It's mid, you know, like who goes to Thanksgiving and with all that stuff there says, you know what I want? Some salad. I want some leafy greens. I don't want this macaroni, this ham, this turkey, if you're into that sort of thing, this stuffing, bell pepper, all this gumbo. No, you say you want some damn salad.
Ooh, you got gumbo on Thanksgiving?
Oh, come on,
I need
bro.
that.
Yeah, I got some gumbo in the microwave right now. Waiting. I'm gonna smash that after this. But yeah, salad is just kind of taking, like if you're the person who brings salad to the family gathering, it's either they have low expectations of you or you're just a bum. Because, you know, nobody about to get hyped over that shit. Sorry, well, I know you got to bleep it, but I got to keep it real with the people.
You're sitting at the kids' table if you do that.
Yeah, just like, all right.
The last one, Savon, is truly obnoxious. So I'd go ahead.
Yeah, I'll put pecan pie.
Boo.
That's the best pie.
How could you put
Object-
pecan pie there?
It's probably the worst pie. I can think of like 5 pies off the top of my head that I would put over it comfortably.
But like
What-
relative to everything else you said about like dinner rolls and salad, you can't put a pie on this list. A pie is still a pie. Like even if it's like mid-tier pie, it's still pie, which is delicious.
So I think you have a good point. And, you know, most of what you said isn't wrong. I think this is definitely an odd one on the list because the others I can maybe fit into a philosophy. The pecan pie doesn't fit into like a food philosophy. I just don't like it. I think it's whack. I think sweet potato pie is better. I think pumpkin pie is better. I think apple pie is better. I think key lime pie is better. It's just too much nuts just all on the top of it. Like, it's just a lot of times I feel like I'm just eating some nuts, crust, and some mush, and it's just not here. I'm just not here for it.
Savon hates nut crust.
I don't know, bro. I don't know what it is because I like pies quite a bit, but pecan pie is decidedly mid. That is just a personal opinion. Again, if you have a differing opinion, I don't care.
Mike, where do you stand on pecan pie?
I love pecan pie. Are you out of your mind? Chocolate pecan pie is the number one pie of the season. Not
but
even
chocolate.
particularly close.
Yeah, chocolate's carrying the load.
Yeah, but the pecan is just what really pushes it from A tier to S tier. You know what I mean?
Ooh, S tier.
S tier.
It's gonna get a chef's kiss pretty soon.
Talking
Forget about it. It's not even that close.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Savon's terrible list will now live forever on the internet. So
Yeah, can we just
good job.
rename this segment to Savon's terrible lists?
Man,
He's trying
don't
to be hyperbolic over here.
You think I'm
Just trying to
being
rile people up.
Oh,
Y'all
man.
think I'm trolling?
We know you're not, which is, in my time of knowing you, the fact that I know all this like all these takes, I know you mean deeply and earnestly. It makes it so much more upsetting for me.
The thing that's hard is that like Thanksgiving is like known for turkey, and I know it's not everybody's favorite, and some people are kind of down on turkey. It's hard to beat Thanksgiving without turkey, man. Like that's just
You can never cut it away.
It's just there.
Dug its claws into
Yeah.
the holiday.
It is the taste of the holiday.
Absolutely.
This is Stockholm syndrome. You people have just been conditioned by the man and big turkey into
Big turkey.
Tyson Foods has got us, guys.
God.
They're sponsoring the show next time. All right. So right before Thanksgiving, Disney Plus gave us a little Thanksgiving treat. They dropped their newest series, Hawkeye, on us. The last Marvel shows that we were seeing were What If and Loki. Very different shows that kind of played up on the mystery of things. They kind of played up on like the very like ungrounded aspects of the MCU. We also had Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and The Eternals come out in theaters over the past couple months. And that now brings us to our latest Disney Plus MCU release, Hawkeye. So I like Jeremy Renner, who stars in the show, but I actually don't know that I've seen him in a good movie
Hurt Locker.
in a really long time. So I actually looked up his IMDb, and the last show that he was in, or last movie that he was in that was good, was The Town, which was 2010, and Hurt Locker, which was 2008.
He was in Arrival. Excuse you. He was in the Denis Villeneuve of Dune fame.
Was he in that
in
one?
Arrival. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very good in that
Was he good in that
movie,
one?
too. Yeah, he
Yes.
plays a big nerd, which is super weird because every other character he plays, and I think who he is as a person is kind of like macho man, like big guy being a dude, you know, just kind of hanging out, and he plays a big nerdy dude in Arrival. But anyway.
So
Even though he's like 5'3".
what's wrong?
What's
with being
wrong
short?
with that?
Well, what's wrong with
Brian?
being short?
What do you mean,
Okay.
even though?
I've never met you in
This
person.
guy.
My bad.
This guy. Yeah, podcasting is the only medium
equalizer.
where guys like me are able to really just stand on equal footing, if you know what I mean.
I'm with you, Mike. What is this short shaming going on here? These movies were over 10 years ago, except Arrival, if you count that one as being one of his better ones. But other than that, I mean, he's been in some kind of, movies that are kind of forgettable. Marvel did a lot of emulating this year. WandaVision obviously was doing a lot of homages to different sitcoms from years past. The Hawkeye trailer kind of seemed like it was kind of going for a Die Hard vibe, or Die Hard inspired, Is there a better comparison for this show now that we've seen the first 2 episodes? Savon, what are you thinking?
I think the comparison, I think you can definitely see some Die Hard parallels, but I think this is just this show's going that direction of, the classic grizzled action hero who's kind of beyond, over all this. And I think that's the direction the show is going. So, I don't know, there's some Die Hard elements, but I don't know. We'll see.
Really stunning endorsement there. So
I didn't get like super Die Hard vibes either on this one. I think it's
There are
there.
no F-bombs.
But it's not. I don't think it doesn't fit quite the same tone as Die Hard or some of the Die Hard movies have had. Brian,
But wait, before you go, Brian, because I, in classic Brian fashion, I did not do my homework for today. Brian
Well done,
did,
Mike.
So I'm
Well
screwing
done.
up.
he had all of Wednesday off, guys. All of Thursday off. All of Friday to do
I could
it.
have done it on Tuesday too. It was not for lack of time. It was for lack of interest. I really could not bring myself. So I couldn't bring myself to just watch this show. So everything y'all are about to say in dissecting the show is going to be convincing me whether or not I should watch this with urgency. I'll watch it eventually, but it's just like I'm really feeling not that into Marvel right now, honestly. Like, it just seems like they're throwing so much new stuff at us. I know Hawkeye is an older character, but this also feels like they're just trying to bring in Kate Bishop. So it just seems like it's been not maybe expo dumps on a movie level, but on like the whole MCU level. It's just they're dumping all this new stuff at us. So I don't know if I'm going to watch this weekly. I did enjoy 2 of the 3 last shows. So everything y'all are about to say, for me, and what I'm guessing is going to be a lot of people out in the world and the people that listen to the show, convincing. Should I watch this? Should I not? Why?
Mike is like really deep in his Dune sand cave right now.
Dune and Halo.
Rocking his comfy. Don't give an F about the world around him. It's all Dune and Halo from here on out.
It's like the happiest I've been in years.
Brian, did you have a comparison, or should we move on?
So I think the better comparison than Die Hard, right? I said there aren't nearly enough F-bombs for him to be John McClane. Might actually be another Christmas holiday staple, which is Home
Elf?
Alone.
Oh, okay.
And I say that because Hawkeye, even though there's some quasi-serious, gritty stuff going on, there is also a ton of silliness going on. I mean, you got Kate Bishop, who is doing some like hijinks in her backstory. You have the tracksuit mafia, which is so ridiculous and clearly meant to only be there to serve as a butt of a joke, like constantly. And maybe not the funniest joke either. Maybe a little bit offensive even. And then you have the whole LARPing thing, which was just silly and trying very hard to be silly. And then, you know, you have like the Christmas backdrop, and sometimes the music swaps out into, you know, Home Alone music. And so I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to do with that.
Wait, is this a funny show then? Is this like Ant-Man or like Thor Ragnarok? It's like not gritty,
not that
and serious, but it's comical.
It's Ant-Man level.
It's not full Ant-Man. But yeah, it's got
you never want to go full
shades
Ant-Man.
of Ant-Man. Yeah.
It's Ant-Man if Ant-Man wasn't a funny character.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Does that make sense? Like the characters around him and a lot of the things, situations are funny, which is what the Ant-Man movies do. But in Ant-Man, Paul Rudd's also funny. In this one, Hawkeye's kind of like he's the straight man.
Yeah, Kate Bishop carries more of the silliness.
Yeah, he's more of the, oh my God, this ridiculous nonsense is happening.
How many years after Endgame does this take place?
Post, I don't know.
Not too far.
So the man isn't just like racked with post-traumatic stress.
So they talk about it. It comes up.
Okay.
A little.
He's got.
So
he's
it's like
got
that's the
hearing
thing with
loss.
That's kind of why I'm. Oh, that's it. He has hearing loss. Like he
Yeah,
watched his whole family die in front of him. He turned into a serial killer. Like
Okay,
trying
hold
to
on.
cope.
Can
Then he had to let his best friend die after trying to kill himself so that she could live.
We've already done that with Loki and
WandaVision, but it makes sense. I mean, Wanda was all about her trauma, and now it's just we're jumping from that into like Christmas
They're trying to reinvent
movie,
these
rom-com.
characters.
Okay, Mike, I'll answer Mike's. Can I answer Mike's question real quick?
All right, Battlefield Mike, tell him.
All right. So Mike, okay, a better way of putting it is, yes, they address the fact that these characters have been through a lot. I don't think they did it the same way with WandaVision. And, well, yeah, that's what I'll say. They're addressing that these characters have been through awful traumatic things, but I don't think it's just them doing the same thing and, doing it the same way to where it's like, oh, they're approached differently enough, I think, to where it's like, cool, what can y'all do to develop this character off this? Which is why I like the backdrop of the show. But
yeah, I wouldn't want another show that's just about their trauma, like, and being very deeply into it. Like we've already seen like 3 of those shows. I don't know. I feel like it would just end up with the same note, and we'd be like, can we get something new? So I think this is something different and new, but not inventive in that way. All right. Kate Bishop's family lives in this huge, very fancy, I don't know what to call it, apartment, suite, condo, penthouse thing. It's way bigger than my current house. But the difference is that it's located literally like right next to Grand Central Terminal in the heart of Manhattan, not just in a rapidly gentrifying area of Austin. So it's probably worth like 10 to 20 million. I don't know. I'm going to have to check this with my New York guys, but I'd say 10 to 20
double
million.
that.
You think double that? Okay, so maybe we're in the 30 to 40 millions here. If you had that much money, are you becoming Hawkeye's apprentice? Because let me tell you, I'm definitely not. Like, putting myself in harm's way, don't need to do it. Getting beat up all the time, don't need to do it. Also, there's just way cooler like ways to spend your time. I would probably choose Bruce Banner, right? or maybe just traveling. I don't know. I'd rather do all.
What do you mean
of these
you
other
choose
things.
Bruce Banner? You'd
I
be
would
a
choose
scientist?
Bruce Banner to be my.
You're telling me if you won
mentor.
20 million. Oh, okay. So
He-
you're telling
he'd be
me
my
she would
mentor.
just buy
if
it.
you were a multimillionaire New
and I
York
needed a
elite,
mentor.
you're gonna go get a bunch of PhDs.
I'm gonna go have Bruce Banner just like hang out with me and teach me things.
Not
You're
even.
gonna go
You're
get
just gonna
PhDs.
pay.
He's a PhD. He teaches people how to get
Sure.
PhDs.
Okay,
No,
great.
no.
I'll get a PhD.
If
you
you were
still
that
want to
rich-
keep that answer now that we've
He's
actually
giving you an
dissected
out.
what
Mike
that
is trying to
means.
give you an out, dog.
if you were that rich, you wouldn't pay Bruce Banner to like teach you things. You would pay Bruce Banner to do shit for you. You would pay him to be like, okay, man, I want to go to the mall. You're gonna carry me on your shoulders and look really awesome when I arrive at the mall for all my friends.
I mean,
that's
I think
the
that's part of the
levels.
deal. If I'm
Yeah.
paying him millions of dollars, yes, that's part.
Okay,
of
well, the
deal for
answer to
sure.
this question is no. It should be no for everybody. This is a job. Like, I
Yeah.
have a job now. I'm not gonna keep my job if I have that much money. Are you out of your mind? Do you think Hawkeye has good benefits? Do you think
No,
he has like PTO?
he has
No,
terrible-
you gotta show
terrible
up
benefits.
for stuff. Why would
Yeah.
I want to do that? So, is the premise of the show that she searches him out to become his sidekick?
No, but she idolizes him.
That seems kind of weird.
No,
So,
they explain
Again,
I
like
mean,
let's
there's
be
reason for
clear,
it.
They
like
explain it.
Hawkeye is a product of the military-industrial complex. So
Yes,
you know, if
but
if,
you know,
if we are
he's a hero.
idolizing-
People love their heroes. So she loved her. She was little when the 2012 attack happened in New York, the Battle of New York. But I will
and
say
her
this.
and her takeaway from that wasn't, you know, I'm near death watching everything I've
Jesus
ever known
Christ.
be blown
Yes.
up.
Right.
It's
It's
I wanna
let
be
me
like
be
that
Hawkeye
guy.
because I want to protect.
He saved her
everybody.
life.
Yeah.
Jesus.
oh, okay.
Jesus.
Okay.
Mike.
I mean, come on.
But I will say this. I will
You're
say this
being
about
so
like
difficult.
you know, not choosing Bruce
Cost.
Banner as your mentor or as your personal scientist. Like archery is kind of awesome. Like it's just cool. Like there's a marksmanship aspect to it. There's a Zen aspect to it. The other part is that like regular people can train to do archery and then like make the Olympics. And there aren't that many sports where this is true. I think I looked at all the lists and I'd imagine it's like archery, equestrian. There's an event called
Not a
shooting,
real-
which I don't know what shooting is, but I imagine it's just you shoot at
Take
the
a
target.
guess.
Yeah, and then curling, right? Like every other sport, you need to be like some
Hell yeah.
otherworldly athlete. All of these four sports, that's where we could like make our mark, guys. So archery, kind of cool. It's fun. I've done it before as like, you know, in camp when I was 10, and I always wanted to go back to it.
The horse
So I
one,
get
you
that.
need to be rich, though.
Yeah.
I have a better chance of being a sprinter than I do of being one of the horse people if we keep it a buck. I could get jacked before I could get rich.
Brian, are you if you'd had your, you know, multi-millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in wealth, are you becoming the next Hawkeye?
I mean, all those things that you listed, I mean, to do them well still requires not just the money, but also the dedication, the time investment, like the studying, the coaching,
I'm not
all of
gonna
it.
have none of
Yeah.
that shit if I'm that rich. You out
Yeah,
of your mind?
If you got like $40 million to have just that apartment, I'm sure they got plenty more real estate than that. You know, the Kate Bishop, she's going to be a Kardashian. Let's be real here. She's going to be famous. She's going to have her own reality show. She's going to have her own entourage. Maybe she'll pop up in a sex tape. Who knows? Sky's the limit for rich girls. That's her life. She's not becoming a superhero.
All right.
That's just how the world is.
Bruce Wayne became a superhero?
He's not some
Yeah, but he's
teenage girl.
traumatized. Yeah, but he's traumatized. He traumatized rich people, and then weird shit happens. I feel like she would much more likely be someone in Succession than Hawkeye's superhero sidekick.
I mean, you got to watch
She's
the
too
first
good at
episode,
heart.
Mike. You'll get a better idea.
She's too good at heart.
Yeah, agreed.
No
All
rich
right.
people are good at heart. Like,
No.
also, like, when we're eating the rich, Kate Bishop is going to be first in line.
I'll let her know. All right, let's move on. Marvel action. Obviously, we got to talk about the fight scenes. How would you rate these fight scenes, Savon? What are you thinking? We saw a couple of them already. There's kind of some hand-to-hand business going on
Mhm.
that were kind of cool. Where would you kind of rate this? Maybe out of 5 stars or on the Savon scale? I don't know how you want to do that.
I would say, you know what? I'll just give it like a letter grading. Not give
Okay.
it like a solid like B plus. It
Okay.
wasn't anything. Oh my god, this is next tier choreography. But also, I'm reminding myself that it's just going to be more grounded just by nature of the characters. It's not superheroes. It's not people with powers. So not expert martial artists, so like they're fighting street goons. So I'm gonna hold some of my reservation to see what maybe some of the higher stakes villains look like, because that might be some higher grade choreography. And I'm kind of waiting more to see what they do when they really start bringing out the archery stuff, because that's what I'm really gonna judge this show by, is what kind of cool archery stuff can y'all pull. What they've done so far, I've liked. So yeah, the hand-to-hand combat is straight. It's not bad. It's not groundbreaking. I'm holding my opinion for more archery stuff.
Yeah, that's my whole deal too. It's like, come on, it's a Hawkeye show. We need arrows. Show me the arrows. I think we've only seen it twice in the whole first two episodes, and there were also not very prominent either in those episodes. They're just sort of like a thing. So we want to see that action. Like they got to let us know that Kate Bishop is the real deal if she's going to take on the mantle of Hawkeye. And we got to be reminded of how cool Hawkeye can be as a character, right? There's a reason why Katniss Everdeen and Legolas are really popular characters, and it's the archery. Show us the archery.
I kind of like, well, now that you've said that, though, the only maybe slight disagreement I would have is that I like that they're showing us that they are well-rounded fighters, right? Because they're establishing like, oh, these guys have hand-to-hand combat skills, because not every fight that you can do can be an archery long-range thing where like, oh, the arrow is the perfect thing, right? Like you're going to need other skills. And so I do kind of like that they're like, hey, these guys have other skills. They can do hand-to-hand stuff. They can do a little bit of like subterfuge, spy business. Clint kind of does some Natasha stuff, some Black Widow stuff. So it's kind of cool that like they added in other stuff. And then obviously we've seen in the trailer there's going to be some cool, archery stuff. So I'm willing to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there. I think what Savon said though is right in terms of the fighting isn't necessarily groundbreaking. The choreography isn't groundbreaking. It's no Warrior. For sure, this is not Andrew Koji, fighting here. She's small. Also, like, it's a little bit unbelievable that she's taking on 200-pound Russian goons, the tracksuit mafia. And there's a couple of, like, punches and follow-throughs that were sort of held too long, just so they could get, like, the moment where, like, the glass breaks or, whatever. But I did enjoy at the end of the first episode where Hawkeye kind of falls into the scene and then, like, slaps the guy with his belt. Like, I was laughing at that. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was a funny way to, like, end the fight.
It's only the first 2 episodes, so there's time for things to change and more to happen. Most of these shows always start out slow because, it's the nature of most shows. But yeah, the big thing I'm going to hope for is them, and they kind of did it, is, them showing Hawkeye isn't just an archer. He's a secret agent, right? So she kind of, hey, he knows how to clean and dress a wound and know if someone's tailing you or not. And I'm really hoping they keep emphasizing those skills he has, because to your point, maybe in the context of the Avengers, he might be underpowered, but in the real world, he's like a Jason Bourne, almost Bond type character. So, hey, flex that.
There are only 6 episodes of the show.
That's what, let's see, who is this? HITC.com. That's what they said. That was the first hit when I Googled it. I'm taking on the role of Google Mike this week, guys. Let's see, what does Wikipedia say?
See, the thing about Googling, Wes, is when you're hosting a show, it's hard to do the Googling. Because right now we have what's known as dead air.
Dead air. It's what you're supposed to do, right? With radio and podcasts, you're just supposed to leave those silences.
Just let awkward silences become a thing.
Silences, guys.
Pregnant pause.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. So fight scenes, I think kind of a like, that was good, but like not like that was amazing. Okay, so let's bigger zoom out here. How do you feel about the show so far? Are you optimistic about where it's going? Are you pessimistic? Are you on the fence? So where are we at here, Brian? Where are you at?
So I have a sense of fading optimism for this one.
What does that mean?
I think it's, there's some promising moments, kind of the things that you guys already articulated, just about, seeing Clint do his thing, also seeing him with his family kind of made him more likable. But then you have other things. As I said earlier, the whole LARPing scene was just totally ridiculous and out of nowhere. Like I don't know what purpose it served. But I am curious about what Clint is up to, why he's so fixated on getting back his Ronin suit. What's in that suit? I don't know. What's the deal with the Rolex from the black market auction? I think maybe it's a Tony Stark device that people are trying to obtain. I also really like the Kate Bishop's soon-to-be stepdad. I don't know the name of the actor, but he plays Lalo in Better Call Saul, and he's just like a phenomenally delicious villainous type of actor. And I think that's going to be played up more and more as we proceed. And then episode 2 ended with with an introduction of a new bad, who I think is actually Echo, who's a character from Daredevil. Yeah, she's a deaf character, goes tete-a-tete with Daredevil, so she could be a very fascinating character. So, there's some things that are keeping me strapped in, but it's hard to get over the LARPing. This is just like, what was that? On the flip side of that, I will say we haven't talked about this yet, but Captain Rogers the musical, that was fantastic. I did love that.
Oh my god!
With a whole song to boot.
The whole song,
great.
I could do this all day. Wait, let's talk about the LARPing real quick. So that whole scene felt kind of flat for me. It felt to me like, this multi-million-dollar production of heroes and like physically fit people, and the show just felt like, to me, it was like a little bit punching down, like for laughs. Or it could just be that Jeremy Renner's not excellent at comedy. Maybe both. I don't know. It felt off somehow for me.
Yeah, I love the LARPing scene. One, I'm always a fan of just taking characters and putting them in situations that are completely out of their comfort zone, where it's like, all right, cool, Hawkeye, you're an Avenger, you're a badass, all that, cool. In this context, none of that matters. So
well, like
they
could have put him in like a 3-year-old girl's birthday party or something like that, where everyone's screaming about unicorns and he wouldn't have enjoyed it. Like, you could have done it a different way. Yeah,
but I mean, for them, they decided, hey, for the context of this suit that he's looking for, this is where it make the most sense. Which, outside of like a Comic-Con thing, I don't disagree. So I think in terms of the suit missing, it made sense. But no, I enjoyed it. I think if you were maybe thrown off or kind of taken aback by it, that might just be because that subculture and interest is gonna just do that regardless. Like, I've seen shows where they depict Dungeons and Dragons, and it's like, okay, even if it's a very accurate depiction, if you don't know anything about it, you probably will think they're still making fun of it. And maybe there is an element of the making fun of it is, hey, look how different it is. But I don't think in any way they were being inauthentic of what of what LARPing really is. So as long as they're being accurate to what it's like, which is just what I felt, whether you interpret it as punching down, it's kind of just your own view of the activity itself. But also, the guy who he was looking for is played by comedian Clayton English, who I absolutely love his work. I think he's hysterical. So maybe I'm biased because I think he's funny regardless. So seeing him in all of that was great.
He was pretty good.
Yes. Yeah. But another reason I enjoyed the LARPing scene is a theme I noticed just in these first 2 episodes is Hawkeye always gets memed as being the weakest Avenger, the archer guy, being low key. The show's made a good point just in these first 2 episodes of emphasizing that even if you aren't the big flashy one, you still inspire and touch people in different levels. And I think the show's already kind of made that point, right? Like Kate Bishop admiring him because of him being more grounded and how she helped him. The guy at the end saying, hey, you literally made my day. You made my Christmas. The whole plot of the show being like, hey, I'm just trying to be with my kids. I like that they're kind of pushing this theme of you don't have to be Iron Man and save the world to be a hero to people. And I thought the LARPing scene was, a fun way of going about that. But I could see why if you're just not into LARPing, I can get why it fall flat.
Well, it wasn't that I'm not into LARPing. I think it's, it's not something that I would enjoy, but it felt like too easy of a punching bag. This felt like a little bit of bullying, like, oh, these people are kind of silly. They're wasting their time. Like, why do they take this so seriously? Like, those were all of the normal like punchlines you would sort of see with this, and I feel like it's been done before. And so that to me, why it's just it felt like a little bit unoriginal, and it felt like punching down and bullying, especially when like obviously Clint is like a very like cool, like in quotes, like a very cool dude. He's just very like, people like him and stuff like that, and he's kind of being a dick to these people. That's all. All right. Did you want to talk about like your overall view of the show?
Yeah, I'm excited for this. Like I said, I know I mean, some of the stuff Brian said's right, but
Sell Mike on it. Why should Mike watch it then?
Yeah. Because that was a lot on LARPing, and I don't care about LARPing.
all right, you should watch Hawkeye because it is a fun, relatively low stakes story for a character who is interesting but doesn't get a lot of heavy screen time. Not every story has to be about the end of the world or trying to save society. And having this be something that's self-contained, you don't need to know diddly squat about the larger MCU because they fill you in a very not ham-fisted way. You can enjoy it. And I think that can just make for some entertaining television. You don't have to get super long-term invested. And it's clearly a passing of the mantle. So you know, like, hey, if you want to just be done with it after, you can be.
I'll say this.
I like low stakes.
Yeah.
I don't like
and the
commitment.
chemistry between Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner, it does work. I think it works at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys felt the same.
Yeah, I think
felt
the
like it
acting's
worked.
good too. Like,
Yeah.
I like all the acting I've seen so far. I like the characters. So
And I like that the show acknowledges that Jeremy Renner and Hawkeye generally play second, third fiddle in the MCU. And they kind of like nod to it throughout the show. Like, people don't recognize them on the street. They care more about other things happening. Rogers the musical, Hawkeye isn't a prominent role in it at all. But Katie Bishop idolizes him and a couple other people do. And so that's kind of like a fun reflection on the character and where he's at.
Mm-hmm. Mike, the biggest conflict so far, I mean, there's obviously bigger conflicts, but the biggest thing this show has emphasized so far is that Hawkeye wants to see his daughter for Christmas.
Why can't he see his daughter for Christmas?
Because of what's going on.
He's busy.
I'm just trying to get home to my daughter.
The conflict, yeah, that's the conflict. So it's like, is that low stakes? Sure, but it's, you know what? It's the same reason I enjoyed Ant-Man 2. It was a lower stakes conflict. Like the whole point of Ant-Man 2 was basically, hey, I'm on probation and I'm out the house on probation. And if I don't get back to the crib before my officer get back and I'm on papers, I'm done for. Like, and I'm about to be off papers in a week. That's the plot of Ant-Man 2. But it's low stakes and it's funny. And that's something I can just kind of connect to easier. And it's like, hey, that's real talk, man. You on papers and you just want to see your kid.
All right, fair enough.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Maybe we'll come and revisit this show once it finishes and kind of see what it's like. Maybe Mike will have done his homework by then. Maybe not. We'll see. The holiday season is a little bit, crazy. That'll wrap us up here. Visit us on Instagram at confidently_pod. We're also on Twitter, kind of, sort of. Leave us a comment. Leave us reviews. What did you think of Hawkeye? Was it fulfilling your MCU itch? Or was it sort of like, I could leave that for later? Visit our sponsors. We're back to comfy.com because Mike is wearing his comfy today. It's
LFG.
Camouflage. I'm not sure if he's going hunting later, but, that's
Never
what
know.
it is.
You
It's
never know.
a fashion faux pas for sure. We're out.
Damn.
Yeah.
Didn't even give you a chance to retort.
No, retort. Jesus. fucking
Door
Christ.
slam.
All right, I'm hanging up.